am Joshua Kaiser, and I'm 14 years old.
My name is Dawn Havokin.
My name is Matt Springer. I'm 28, and I'm an actor.
It all started with Jesus Christ Superstar. There was a email that went out saying, looking for adults to help dress. And I was like, well, I'm an adult. I could probably do that. I fell in love with it. The magic, the pace, the excitement, and so I've been there ever since.
I guess the first time that I really kind of got into the theater was actually my freshman year in high school. It was one of the after-school groups, the male ensemble, when our director came in and said, well, we didn't have a lot of guys audition for this musical this year, so you're all here anyway, you're auditioning. And I kind of caught the theater bug ever since.
My mom told me to audition for Les Mis at LCT because I liked singing. So I auditioned. I didn't get a part in that, but it was really fun. And so I was like, oh, I'll do this again. So the kids show Wind in the Willows was coming around, so I auditioned for that and I actually got a part. Really, I kind of broke out of my shell, and started talking to more people.
Like, the story that people are most interested in is the Xanadu story, where we had the column of lights that were up and down lights. We had the curtain wings really close to those lights, and actors on roller skates touch the curtain or brush the curtain. And I look over and I'm like, I feel like the fog machine is not working right, because there was a column of smoke raising straight up. And I was like, is the fan not working properly? So I was like, all right, I will check it out when I have a chance. So I walked over, and no, it wasn't the fog machine. It was a curtain on fire. Literally flames going through the middle column of the folded over curtain.
I'd probably say the craziest thing I've ever had to do was get in a fight with Devin Simcoe at the beginning of a show, just because he doesn't really quite understand, yeah, we're not actually fighting, we're pulling punches right now. We ended up, rolling around on the ground, and I actually still have like a scar. You can't really see, but I still have a scar on my elbow from getting a little too aggressive in some of that rolling.
So I was in a show, and then they came for me at La Crosse Community Theater, and I had to be a Hitler Youth. And to put yourself into those shoes and take that mindset is definitely different and not something everybody has to do. And it was an eye-opening experience.
Gifts of the Magi, the first time I got to make magic happen. I made it snow, and being a part of magic. Billy Elliot was a favorite just because it's so powerful, and we were part of something that was the first. It was the first time it had ever been performed by a community theater here in the United States, and that's a big deal.
In Billy Elliot, I got to meet a lot of people in that show, and it was a fun experience to do.
It's always a big deal when you are the first community theater that can do a production, especially one that's been as well received as Billy Elliot.
Like a couple weeks and months after we did the show, I kind of remembered back to it, and I was like, wow, we really did that.
Well, one of the things that I've taken away is a new family. I have this group of people who I love and who I root for and who I want to do well. It's okay. It's like the island of misfit toys. We all don't fit, but we don't fit together.
Well, first and foremost, the theater community is crazy. Don't expect it to be anything less or anything more. It's crazy, it's chaotic, but it's a controlled chaos most of the time. It's a very tight-knit group because these are the people that you work with, especially in community theaters or even professionally. It's a very, very small world. So you're going to be working with these people more than once in some form or capacity. You see the stories of everyone else around you and the people that you are through different experiences. And that's really what I would consider the magic of theater.
The theater community is a great community to be in. Everybody's really nice.
The thing that really draws me into acting and being on stage is just, it's really a moment where everyone is watching you. They're seeing everything that you're doing, and they're making their own judgments about it what's really going on in this scene other than just two people talking at each other.
Once you do it once, the feel about like the immediate audience response coming back is just something you can't really get in different ways of performing arts.
You know, you go and you watch a TV show and it's so polished and it's so perfect, but it's also distant. And live theater is not polished. Even on its best nights, there's always something that goes a little off. You know, and it's not perfect, but it's so intimate. You know, you're looking the actor in the eye. And I feel like the reason that it's so big right now is because we're missing a lot of that community. We're missing a lot of that face-to-face human interaction. And the theater is one of the last places where that still exists.
Theater itself is a tool for education. We've always, as human beings, wanted to hear stories. That's how our traditions started, like oral traditions and oral histories. So that's kind of what we do. I mean, you can always hear a story, and that's great, and that's entertaining and fantastic, but there's an entirely different side of it when you actually see these stories take place and develop in front of you. What you see is just the tip of the iceberg. It's not just people that show up and just put something on. This takes hours and hours and hours of rehearsal and prep, even just creating the props and the costumes themselves. This isn't something that can just be thrown together.
For every actor on stage, there are hours and hours of practice that went in by that actor. But there's also an entire team supporting them. There is a director and a stage manager and a fly crew and a run crew and a costume crew and a costume designer and a props designer. All these other people that you don't see.
I'd like to keep it a secret.
That's why it's magic. You don't explain magic.
Other than that, yes. The secrets I'd like to keep to myself.